This has to be a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Guardrails anywhere. We do have loose another video the other day. But going down, this is what you got to look at. So it's a perfect morning for a motorcycle ride. I'm leaving Ashland. I'm going to go to Steamboat via I-5 South and then loop back around. It's about a 4-hour drive. It's a really nice, comfortable 68 this morning. I don't think I could be more comfortable. So we're going to hit I-5. And that's, you know, coming from Ashland, you know, I-5 is, well, it's interstate. And, you know, there's a lot of places in I-5 that are just not terribly too enjoyable. But I got to tell you, heading I-5 South from Southern Oregon, it's absolutely beautiful. There's a couple of places that give you some really nice vistas. In fact, one place that has a vista viewpoint there in, and here I'll close my visor, along I-5, and it's just wonderful. And so typically I don't really care for driving interstate because it's not entertaining, but this is a little different. So we're going to start our day heading southbound, and then we're going to get really close to Weed down off of I-5, and then loop back. It's a really nice, and I haven't been, but it's a nice area. I've been down to Weed and then off to, I want to say it's Forks. I could be wrong. Forks, California. That's a beautiful area. Been down in there. And but from there we're going to go up to Steamboat, and it looks like it's a super entertaining ride. So thank you for joining me this morning. If you haven't yet, please do like and subscribe as I continue to grow this channel. And this is Outdoors for Adventure. And I've been going back and forth between Outdoor for Adventure or Outdoors for Adventure. But I think Outdoors for Adventure, it just sounds a little more natural. So that's the channel. And the channel, it is my passion of overlanding and motorcycling. Just getting outside, enjoying myself outside, right? And some people like to fish. That's all I do is I fish. I don't catch anything. It's been years since I've caught anything, actually. So if I do fish, I just fish. There's no catching involved. But you know, I really enjoy you know, I enjoy fishing when I get the opportunity. So you might see that on the channel, but that's going to be pretty rare. Mainly motorcycling, camping, overlanding, some car travel, but you know, the real passion is overlanding and gear review, and that's going to be for anything overlanding, motorcycle related. And then of course, you know, my motorcycle travels, like today. Just getting out. Wife's doing a little golfing. That's not my thing. Wife's doing a little bit of golfing, so I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go for a nice ride this morning. So that's what I'm doing. So thank you for joining me again. It's great to have you along. And when I get to somewhere a little more entertaining than downtown Ashland. This isn't the really cute part of downtown Ashland. When I get somewhere entertaining, well, I'm going to report back, so you'll be with me the whole trip. Anywhere that's worth filming, sometimes it's not, but today that's the goal. So Mount Ashland, let's talk about that here for 30 seconds, okay? If you've never been to Mount Ashland, not much to report as far as the lodge is concerned, but I gotta tell you, if you're coming along I-5 and you need a little bit of a break, take off exit 6 up to the top, and there's a huge parking area. And the other day we were out there, and there was some people that were thoroughly enjoying lunch in the parking lot overlooking a beautiful vista. And they just had their chairs out having lunch, enjoying socializing, of course. And I just, if you have lunch with you, right? And I don't know if the lodge has a restaurant. They've got to have some sort of restaurant, cafe, deli up there. But what I would do is I would grab my chairs, plop them off on the side of the parking lot, and enjoy just a breathtaking view. And that's a nice little break. Stretch your legs, go for a walk. There's some nice little hiking trails up there right next to the parking lot, so you can go for a quick little hike and then jump back in the car and head back down I-5 if that's what you're looking for. So anyhow, just food for thought. We're about 4,000 feet in elevation, 4,300. Now, if you go up to the Mount Ashland, they sit at about 6,000 feet in elevation. So keep that in mind, depending on what time of the year you are visiting the area. 6,000 feet, you'll definitely get snow a lot sooner than you do anywhere along I-5. So if you're not prepared, you don't have snow chains, don't go, right? So here's a perfect example of what I was just talking about. Look at that valley out there, okay? So here we are. This is exit 6. Things really start to become rather entertaining, just as you get close to the California-Oregon border. As you can see, we've got beautiful views of the surrounding hillsides, and a little bit of snow, a little bit of smoke. We've got some fires in California. California's got one that's 350,000 plus acres, the Shelly fire. Just devastating to hear to hear the amount of damage that fire is causing. And I pray for everyone that's being affected by those fires, the families and their homes, and of course the communities that are being affected, and I pray for all of the emergency responders that they're safe and their lives are protected. But other than the little bit of smoke that you're seeing, beautiful, beautiful drive. And I'm so glad to be able to share this with you. So when you get to Oregon, come south. Southern Oregon, Northern California, it's a beautiful area. So here we're going to take the next exit, 62. This is not 62, this is 786. California is long. 786. I misspoke earlier. I said weed, and it's actually just north of Wairika, so I apologize. Scenic byway. Hey, I like that. So here we've got 29 miles to go. To Horse Creek. That's my first town. So we go Ashland to Horse Creek, and then just follow Google up to Steamboat, which is in Oregon. Horse Creek's in California. I just wanted a big giant loop this morning. That's really what I wanted. A little bit of time on the interstate, but most of it's all going to be back roads. And there is a fire south of where I am on the west side of the I-5, but we're going to be really far away from that. Might get a little bit of smoke. So far this is looking very promising, heading into the hills alongside of a river, excuse me. It's a river. Yeah, that's no creek. But when does a river become a creek? Or when does a creek or creek become a river? Wonder if it's volume of water or the width of the waterway, right? It's kind of like the chicken and the egg. Well, no, not really, but I guess that's the closest comparison I can make. When does a creek become a river? Maybe one of you can comment. I'm sure there's a scientific definition. Okay, 43 miles. I think I've got at least that in fuel, so that works just fine. So we are not going to Wairika, we are going to Willow Creek. Or we're heading towards Willow Creek. Look at that! Think about the engineering that was involved in blasting through that rock over there. That's fabulous. I am super excited about today's ride. Look at this. Right next to the river. Okay. So Klamath River, Happy Camp. I think I'm going as far as Happy Camp, and then I'm going to be shifting north. I mean, who doesn't want to go to a town called Happy Camp? Right? Of course, it would be really disappointing if you went into Happy Camp and people were like all pissed off. You know, grouchy, irritated you were there. You out-of-towners. All you do is bring your influence and your money. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure they're wonderful people. I mean, how can they not be, right? It's probably like in the town charter. You have to have a pleasant attitude, pleasant personality, otherwise they can kick you out of Happy Camp. So here's a question for those of you that motorcycle, right? So you see an advisory sign and it says 30 miles per hour, right? So my rule of thumb is when I see an advisory sign, now some of the roads I've been on, they say 20 miles per hour. I'm doing 20 because I know the curve, right? It's darn near a 90-degree turn, right? But when you're out in the country, do you kind of have a rule of thumb, like 10 over, 15 over, those advisory signs? Because the speed limit here is 55, okay? So if the speed limit's 55 and you have an advisory, okay, yes, you know, and you see something that says 30 miles per hour, do you go into that curve at 30? Or do you go in slightly higher? I'm curious. Mine's just, generally speaking, about 10 miles per hour over, right? And most of the time I'm not looking at speed, I'm feeling the comfort of the conditions, right? The other thing is I'm more likely to go in a little faster if I can see the opposite end of the curve. If I can't see the opposite end of the curve, I'm a little bit more reserved because, you know, as you go into a curve, you can come out, it'll be a deer, a car, a broken down motorcycle, any number of things. Tractor, you know, side-by-side quad supporting farming out in this area. You know, and they're not doing 55. Maybe they're doing like a tractor. You know, fast speed for a tractor is 15 miles per hour, 20. The other thing is I don't know if you saw that coming out of that curve. That Honda Pilot was on my side of the road. Did you see that? He cut that corner. So if I had actually come in and taken my side of the road, it could have been a really bad accident. It's like these curves, I'm perfectly comfortable between, you know, I don't know, 40 to 50 miles per hour. I haven't been watching my speed really carefully. You know, sometimes I get a little bit more conservative, especially if I'm new to an area and I don't know the area very well, haven't ridden the road. Love to hear something here really quickly. You're going to hear me say something very similar several times, but I want you to look along this hillside, and you know, there are parts of our country that are very prone or very sensitive to fires. And the Pacific Northwest is one of those areas that, you know, it's getting drier, and our fire season is longer and more severe. And, you know, it's super important if you're outside that you're extremely careful. Right now, that I'm aware of, the national forest, you're actually not allowed to smoke outside. It's that severe. So no smoking outside, no fires. So you're not going to be burning wood. You know, a lot of the national forests allow you to burn a propane-fired fire pit because we don't have embers coming from those fire pits. So whenever I'm off-road, I always carry a shovel, extra water, and a fire extinguisher. I also carry my propane fire pit, so if it's cool enough at night, I can enjoy the ambiance of fire without that risk. One of the other things is when you have a fire pit out, you want to make sure that you're not over flammable material. Those fire pits put out a ton of heat, and particularly the fire cans that are so popular right now, a lot of them just sit on the earth, and that poses a risk all by itself. Okay, so make sure that you're over gravel, dirt. Use the shovel that you brought, turn over the grass, create a nice little fire pit. Just make sure that you're not sitting on top of grass or anything that's flammable like needles. Right? Last thing we need is to see something go up and smoke like that because of one of us. You know, just trying to be outside and enjoy the outdoors, right? The Shelly fire, 350,000 acres, and that was yesterday. 0% containment. I didn't look this morning, but it is spreading, and it's spreading wildly. By the way, this drive, it's super entertaining. Lots of twisties, if that's your thing, right? And I'm following the river. So that's a that's entertaining by itself. Following the river. Anytime you can follow a river, right? Because you get to see canyons. You see sometimes livestock, right? Wildlife. Some nice camping in the area too. I noticed a couple of campsites. Hey, what's better than one tractor? Two tractors. That guy doesn't have to choose between John Deere or Kubota, right? Because he has both. Only a mile away from Horse Creek. Just now crossing the river. Pretty large construction area. We've got what looks like a logging operation, but I just passed a major, looked like a rock processing area that they're going to be using for construction in this area. Anyhow, we're only a mile away from Horse Creek. Finally got out of the fire burn area that was affected. Now we've got some nice trees, some shade. Makes all the difference in the world. You drive through 15, 20, 30 miles of burnt forest. It can be really depressing at times. I really find myself being quite affected by it. I was on the Northern California BDR. It's the backcountry discovery route. And there's a couple of sections that have been just devastated because of the California fires. And, you know, I spent, I don't know, 6 hours, you know, going through, maybe even longer than that, but going through these sections of forests that are devastated because of the fires that rolled through. And just really affected because of it. Okay, so we are going to continue heading west. And in fact, I'm going to pull over here just so that I can tap my GPS, update my route. Okay, that was Horse Creek, by the way. I totally missed it. I think it was all of 2 buildings. That's okay. Thought I was going to get out, maybe stretch my legs, get a bottle of water, and think about getting some fuel too. But yeah, I think that was 2 buildings. So Horse Creek, not much to report. And I think that was all of 3, 4 buildings, maybe. Along the Klamath River. I'll get the name of it heading back out. But I love dipping into these campgrounds to see what they're all about whenever I can. Let's see, day use parking. Nah, we don't want the day use parking. Okay. So I will share with you what the name of the campground is once I get out. It's a nice small campground. We're nestled amongst the evergreen trees, the hillside. And the other thing that's super cool about this area, oh, look at that. There's an example of their little space, tent space, picnic table, right? So right beyond that tree line is the river. And of course I have my helmet on, and so I can't hear it, but it's there, right? I saw tents, so I'm not sure exactly where the campsites are, but there's one right there, just barely big enough for a car. This must be an older campground. Okay, here we are. Look at that. Right next to the river. River access right there. Look at that site. Dip your feet in the river. Nice hot day. Oh, this is a super cute little campground, that's for sure. It's small. But hey, you need a place to camp, pull off. It's got a pit toilet, river access. What more do you need, right? Right there. Sarah Trotton Campground. So that's probably a pretty good example of the campgrounds along this route. You know, nothing fancy, right? There you go. Place to park your camper. I love the fact that there's river access, right? Now this river, I would imagine that the source of this river is really far because it is super silty right now. River's flowing really good, and so it's not extremely clear. Okay. Oh, here we go. Population 80. Hamburg. Population 80. I'm surprised that they afforded a sign for 80 people, right? Yeah, I'm really digging this this route because, you know, there's some really nice day use areas, and then there's also some camping as well. And most of them are all set up against the river. Here we go, Hamburg, California Resort. Right? There you go, you just saw it. Well, I'm going to keep rolling because maybe Hamburger's got something in store for us. Now that might have been it. Sometimes I turn off the camera too soon. I think that's it. So thank you, Hamburg, for having us. We really enjoyed our stay. And now, moving on. We just made a right just after the general store. It's Said. I'm not sure if that's how that's pronounced. I have to look it up. Never been through there. Population 350. Oh, this is proving to be rather entertaining. So we got 21 miles to go. I've never been to Steamboat, by the way, Steamboat, Oregon. So that'll be interesting. I'm glad you're coming for the ride, though. Aha, road narrows. Oh, this is super entertaining through here. If I got 20 miles to go. This could be very entertaining. Super pretty. Self into today. So I'm out here. I don't even know if this road has a name. I can't even see it. But it started out with a sign that said road narrows, and now I'm down to basically one lane out here in the middle of the country. I wonder if this is going to turn to gravel. I mean, this seems really quite remote for one lane out in the country, but hey, you know, we are here to explore, right? That's what we do. So End County Road. Yeah, I don't know that I want to go 20 miles off-road. So we're going to regroup and check out what we got going on here. See what the GPS says. So the other thing is, yesterday I learned, you know, some of these roads, they may have been established at one time, but I spent, I think it was about 5 hours on a road going 2 miles per hour, cutting greens on both sides and the top, trying to get the Jeep through. So yeah, I'm not thrilled about going on a gravel road for 20 miles. Okay, so we are going to go all the way to Happy Camp, get some fuel, and then decide what we're going to do, because we'll probably pick up some cell connectivity there, be able to look at the maps a little bit more. So that's what we're going to do. Drive to Happy Camp. After all, we're going to see what Happy Camp's all about. So we're going to go ahead and report back shortly. We are coming into Happy Camp. Okay. And I'm going to stop for fuel because I've got 47 miles until I'm empty. Hopefully they have a gas station in Happy Camp. We'll see. It's not looking very promising right now, but we are on the outskirts of Happy Camp. They actually had a sign. It needs to be repainted, but that's okay. So let's see what Happy Camp looks like. Okay, here we are. Coming into downtown Happy Camp. Alright. See, there's a fuel station operational. It says the pump's open 24 hours a day. Well, let's see if we can find something a little bit more commercial. Oh, okay. Visa, MasterCard. Okay. A little... Oh, there's a market. Okay. That could be the only fuel station here in Happy Camp. I just like saying it. Happy Camp. Right? Alright, we're going to pull over and figure out if that is the only fuel station in Happy Camp. Okay? By the way, folks, Happy Camp does not have internet services, FYI. So that's okay. We're gonna use our map. Just gonna get really close and personal and see if there's anything listed. Try Google. And voila. It's one of the reasons why you need offline maps. Okay. Who would have ever thought? Right? That's right. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. Pop in here at the deli and see what we see. Okay, a little bit of an update. Happy Camp, we're going to take 199 heading northbound. 199 should, if I read the map correctly, should drop us off near Grants Pass in Medford. Probably Grants Pass, a little further north. It's going to take us a little longer, but that's okay. You just have to be flexible. That's key when you're doing a little exploring. The route I wanted to take, well, wasn't exactly the best way to go about making my circle, so that's okay. So right now I'm on 199 heading north. I'm hoping that this drops me in towards Grants Pass, but 199, this is a burnt area of the California infrastructure. Not a lot of shade, FYI, so you want to take it during a cool day. Today it's 76. You can see how devastated this area is. There's just very little trees that survived the last fire that came through here. A lot of new undergrowth. There is signs that specifically state that they do not maintain this road in the wintertime. So heads up if you find yourself on this road during the wintertime. They will not plow or sand this road. What you find when a forest gets devastated like this is the undergrowth really takes off because there's nothing to block the canopy, you know, the sun. So you find all this scratch brush really takes off. Vine maples, a lot of your bushes, grasses. Grasses are usually first to establish themselves. So this 199, it's very entertaining, that's for sure. And you know, the other thing about being in an area like this, there is a, I hate to say an advantage. I don't want to say that when when we're driving through a burnt forest, but the advantage is the views. Nothing blocks the view. Obviously we do have some tree trunks that were left over, but you know, you don't have a heavy canopy, so everywhere you turn you can see the hillsides and mountain. And what's interesting, once I got started on 199 after Happy Camp, there has been not a single car on this road. Not a single car. So make sure you come prepared with a full tank. Well, that stop really that came up in a hurry. This has to be a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Here we are. All of these trees here would have blocked this view, and I would much rather prefer for the trees to be here, obviously, but you can see the road down here that I came in on, and actually all the way across this valley here. So yeah, that's it definitely opens up the view. Again, I would much rather have the trees where they're supposed to be, alive, doing well, you know. Here we go, coming across the hillside. Look at that. Is that crazy? Amazing view. Well, if this drops me into Grants Pass, this may be actually one of my favorite roads in this area. Just full of twisties. I mean, we're riding along this. And the pavement's not in great shape, so you do have to pay attention. Plus, we don't have any guardrails anywhere. We do have loose rock. Some potholes, some dips. But overall, this is a very comfortable road to ride. So Southern Oregon, Highway 199. And I'll review all the towns that I've been through. I'll put them in the comments and my route. So those of you that want to follow the route, you are more than welcome to. Make sure you stop and get fuel, or before you leave the interstate, grab yourself a full tank, because so far I've only ran into one fuel station. Okay, look at that. Okay, that's some serious eye candy. Now, I said this in another video the other day, that because of the little bit of smoke that we have at this point hovering over the area, it almost looks like these hills got painted in, like this is a Hollywood backdrop, right? And for those of you wondering if baggers do well on this road, well, there was 3 baggers. So I always wonder about the footpads, right? But they have scrapers too. I have a friend of mine that has a Harley, and he says on these twisties he has, oh, look at this, we're gonna stop because I do need to use the facilities. And maybe, just maybe, we have internet connectivity so I can double check my route. Ooh, look at this big giant snow park. Okay. Oh no, wouldn't that be fun to have snowmobiles? Uh-oh. That could be dangerous up here. Snowmobiles? Check out these views. I mean, it's pretty spectacular. I'll try going around one of these corners. There we go. Just spectacular up here. Look at that. Bet you the first part of the season it is absolutely wonderful with some of these hills being snow-capped. So you want the snow level down to probably 3,000 feet. And having snow just speckled along the top of those mountains, that would be real pretty. And then springtime, you got all the flowers in blossom. Well, I am not sure what the firewood collection is, but there are so many logs so close to the side of the road that you could fill up a trailer, no problem. Easy peasy. Look at that. I'm so glad that you're here right now watching this with me. Okay. Oh, we're going to come across there. Right there. That's going to be us in just a minute. You can actually see the road there. What is going on? Oh, come on now. Is that plastic or paper? Okay, it's just paper. Biodegradable. Alright. I was going to have to stop and pick that up if it was all plastic. Wow. Yeah, I've got to stop here. Look at that. That is just fantastic. And like I said, I'm so glad that you're here to see this right now. That you've stuck with me over the last probably 30 minutes. You're here to see this. Well, thank you again for joining me. And do continue to keep watching, like, and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content. And I'm going to continue to keep filming all the highlights of this this little adventure I'm on this morning. Oh, by the way, if you do decide to come out here, when you're on 199, there are no signs along the way as far as advisory speed. So you just really got to pay attention, and when in doubt, go slower than you think you need to, because, well, there's no guardrails, and just everybody needs to come home safely, right? At the end of the day, that's really what we're going for. Come home safely. Okay? I'm enjoying this side of the pass. You know, always coming down, the views are better than going up because you're not faced the correct direction. But going down, this is what you got to look at. Yeah, not bad at all. Notice I'm only doing, 19 because, well, I'm distracted. And rightfully so. It's a beautiful view. Oh, do also be careful. There are several patches, and they've got signage, but there's several patches of gravel along here because of, well, they've had landslides. I've seen that. And then as well, probably damage from the fire, but mainly, and so there's, I think I've already passed 4 patches of gravel like that, but you can see here's the landslide, and it's impacted the road and maybe damaged it. And what happens is and landslides happen, obviously all the time, but if you have fire burn, all the vegetation no longer is growing and causes damage to the soil conditions, and so you can have landslides because the soil is no longer being stabilized by the vegetation. And then just seasonal runoff that can cause that. So it's hard not to film this whole drive because, well, I don't want to miss anything. Do you creators have that same problem where you're afraid of missing something vital and so you record it? I don't know about you, but I almost feel like I should record it and then I can edit it out. I've had drives, literally, I took a drive to Crater Lake, and so I actually rode the whole time with the video camera running, and I posted it an hour-long drive to Crater Lake, unedited, so that, well, people can tune in and they can just watch whatever it is they want to watch. This one's a little different, obviously. So I don't know if you can see the difference having that canopy makes, right? You know, a lot more shade on the road. I don't know about temperature wise, but a lot more shade on the road. And like I said earlier, I'd rather see the trees in this state. And then you come down and you don't get those wide vistas unless you have, now these trees I think have been limbed, possibly along the edge of the road, right? Or they've just lost their limbs. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see that difference, right? Certainly a lot less depressing having the trees in this state. I'll take this any day of the week. Well, that's it. I am off the beaten path, and now heading towards I-5. Not much to see once you hit I-5, but I gotta tell you, that was absolutely worth today. Being able to head up there, see those views, come down that mountain, well, going up and coming down. Lots of fun, lots of twisties. It was a beautiful drive out there along the river. Really enjoyed that. And you know, I may have made a wrong turn, but that's okay. That's part of the adventure. As long as we take it as such, we're having a good time. It's all about attitude, right? The other thing I might also you know, mention is that this time of the year, not so bad. 79 degrees, not an issue. But if you travel during the winter time, you definitely want to make sure you have supplies with you. Especially if you're going to be traveling up that mountain pass. Conditions can change at any time. So you want to make sure that you're adequately prepared. Traction devices. And there is no cellular connectivity from Happy Camp all the way to the other side of 199 there. And so you'll want to make sure that you carry a communication device. If you have one, you tell people where you're going, when you expect to be back. Nice thing is, modern iPhones, they have the SOS communication. I've actually used that feature before. We have Spot, we have Garmin, we have InReach. So, all very good devices to have when you have no cellular connectivity. And then, water, maybe a snack or two. And take pictures, have a good time. I'm looking forward to going back, so I'm going to go back and probably do some camping. It looks like a fun area to continue to keep exploring, right? Oh, and you want to make sure you get fuel too. Happy Camp, good place to stop and get fuel. There you go, Future RV Park right there, right outside of Cave Junction, right next to, what is this, a river? Is it a dry river? Nope. Nice little river. That looks like a really nice little spot for, like I said, an RV park. One of those convenient ones right off of a main road. Oregon Caves. Hey, look at that. Oregon Caves. I was up there just yesterday. If you haven't been to Oregon Caves, go. It is a blast. The tour is absolutely fantastic. The tour lasts approximately 90 minutes. And man, it is just so much fun. Yep. Go to the Oregon Caves if you haven't. Take yourself a lunch. They got a reflection pool. Have yourself a nice little snack. Go into the gift shop. They have a nice little walk around. It's not very large. Kids will love it. I liked it. It has a couple of displays. Yeah. And if you can, reserve your ticket in advance. That would be fantastic. We only had to wait for about 45 minutes for the first tour that had an opening. Make sure you bring a sweatshirt, by the way. The cave temperature is 44 degrees. Okay, so 44 degrees inside. I forgot a sweatshirt. It was like 80-90 degrees during the summertime. I was like, you know what? I am going to not worry about it, and got up there, and sure enough, 44 degrees. That's pretty cold. So what we ended up doing is we bought sweatshirts there at the shop. Really very, very creative sweatshirt. It said, "This cave rocks." Still have them 16 years later. Cave Junction. We're in Oregon now. It's a super cute little town. By the way, the Dairy Queen, we stopped there the other day. Oh, and for all you coffee aficionados, there's a Dutch Brothers that's local to Oregon. Oh my goodness, when was the last time you saw a Radio Shack? I bet you that sign is not telling the truth. There's no building there. It's gone. That's okay. Well, that was Cave Junction. That's going to end my video for today. Because between here and there's not really a lot to see. Thanks for joining me. Really do appreciate it. I hope everybody has an absolutely amazing, wonderful day. And wherever you are, get outside and go for an adventure.